Hey everybody, welcome back, it's Teddy, and today we're going to be talking about Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and I'm going to be making a quick review of the game. So, let's get right into it. So, a little backstory, this game originally came out in 2004 as Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. 1 second. Right over here, I have a case of it. I got it for like $14 because I got it a couple years later than 2004. But regardless, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door came out 20 years ago now, and a remaster recently came out for it. I played through the entire thing on stream. The live VODs are still up there on my YouTube channel, so if you click down below, you can still watch the VODs of me playing through the game. I plan on playing through it again, and I might even make just a solo YouTube uploading series of it, so you can get the content in a better, or, a different form, a more curated form for people who just want to watch the VOD and hear me talk about the game. So, let's get into the review of the game. First thing I'd like to talk about is the story. So, we just beat the entirety of the story. I don't know how long it took us, but if I were to guesstimate, it'd be around 16 hours. Maybe even quicker, 14 hours, but that's because I know where everything is, and I know how to do everything in the game because I've played the game so many times. So, I think a new player, I think 16 hours is a safe bet to say that they'll get on their first playthrough. And, yeah, story is charming, I think is the best word I would use to describe it. It is, a little, it's not, too serious, I think is one of the best things about it. It kind of acknowledges that it's a video game, it's a little goofy, and that's okay. And it's one of the things I love about the game personally. So, I don't want to give any spoilers on that section, on the story, so I think that's where I'm going to leave off for that. However, if you want to see the story played through it full, again, I've played it all live on stream, on YouTube, so you can check that out. Now, having said that, we'll talk about the characters who are your partners in the game. I was gonna say are, your accomplices, but that makes it sound bad, so yeah, they're your partners. And the characters are all, again, very charming. I think this is one of the strongest suits of the game. It makes characters that are very easy to care about, and there's pretty much a archetype for anyone who's playing the game. So you'll find a character that you can empathize with, who you you can get behind. And I think that's really great. I know personally I just use Goombella the whole time because I just like her the best. But, people can use Vivian, you can use Yoshi, or the Yoshi, you can use Bobbery. There's so many great picks. All the characters have unique outlooks on the setting and add a unique twist to things. Koops is another big one I can see people liking. But yeah. So, story pretty solid. Now, let's get into the changes they made to the game, because I think that's what a lot of people are going to be interested in. What changes did they make to the game that make this different from the original? And I'm happy to say that I think all the changes they made are just objectively better. Now, you might be wondering, so what are these changes? Most of them are just skips for parts of the game that were kind of tedious, but there are a couple notable changes. For example, they changed some dialogue in certain places to make it more blunt, which is a change that I don't mind, but also I think was unnecessary personally. However, I think it's cool because it allows for fan theories territory to be broken out of, and now these fan theories that were assumed for 20 plus years, or, actually exactly 20 years, can now be set in stone as being the actual reality. So, dialogue, a couple changes, not a big deal. A couple new health blocks in certain places. I think there's one noteworthy one that I can think of off the top of my head. And they made, so let's talk about the big one, the skips. As I said, I was implying that quality of life changes were one of the biggest things that they added to the game, and that is still true. So the quality of life they added was a lot of skips. For example, we know the skip rooms, the pipes that would take you quickly to, I believe, Petalburg, Bogley Woods, and then Keelhall Key, and Poshley Heights. However, now there are just pipes to every location that you've been to in the sewers in the skip room that you can access from the central Rogueport town area, which is just fantastic. I mean, there's no way to convey this as negative because it's just all positive. I mean, you know, more convenient ways to get around. If you're somebody who wants a challenge and uses like the slow go badge and the double pane badge, then you can still play like that and just use the normal pipes. But they have this option for accessibility that people who might not be interested in having to do these longer travel times, they can just use the quicker ones. So in addition to that, there is, I think one of the bigger ones that I like is there's a complete overhaul to the music. Now, I personally don't like the remixed songs as much as the originals, and that is okay because there's a badge you can get for, I believe, 1 coin at the badge shop called Nostalgia Tunes, which will switch the music back to the old music. I've played through the game entirely without Nostalgia Tunes on, and I think I've decided that I like the old ones better. So you can go back to the nostalgic tunes that, you know, for example, we grew up on. And that is perfectly okay. It costs 1 gold, so you're not going to be bankrupting yourself getting this badge. And you can get it right from the beginning of the game, which I ended up doing because I just checked out the badge shop immediately upon entering the Rogueport Square. So, you know, lucky me. Super nice feature, and I'm so happy about it because sometimes, you know, you just like what you grew up on. You like what you're familiar with, and this was something I was familiar with, and it made me really happy to see that badge in the game. However, those aren't the only changes that they added that were quality of life changes. The gold cap is no longer 999 coins. I don't know how high it goes, but I'm gonna guess it's 9,999 coins, because I've broken 1,000 coins, and, you know, now I have more than 999, so the cap has clearly been increased. I don't know where the cap ends or starts, but we know it's higher than it was before. So another convenient thing that they added to the game that has no negative consequences. If you want to challenge yourself, again, you can just play like you had a cap of 999, but overall, all positive so far. Another thing they added is that they made it so you get clear bonuses for defeating certain bosses and taking on certain challenges, which is super cool. It just rewards you a hefty amount of coins, like 50, 100, 30. It rewards you some large quantity of coins, and you can feel free to spend that wherever. It's fantastic. It makes the coin economy much more balanced, because I know you were... You know, I was never short on coins in the original. However, I feel it encourages you using, you know, items a lot more now that you have so much access to coins, which is, you know, personally I think is super fun, because I never used items in the original because I just found it to be a waste of time, and they didn't do enough. However, if coins aren't a resource you're having to fight and claw for every time, then I'd say having the option to have, you know, fill up your inventory with whatever you want, Thunder Rages, you know, Life Mushrooms, it's great. It's an awesome accessibility feature, and I'm very happy about that. And that really sums up all the changes. Overall, I would say Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, in review, is just... the remaster is a better version of the original. It has shortcuts in certain places that allow you to just cut out some of these more tedious runbacks that they have. Because, you know, now that I've replayed it and had the shortcuts, it is so much nicer having those shortcuts. It was really painful having to do those originally, and you don't realize it until well, sometimes you do realize it in the time. Like, I was very aware that it was kind of annoying to do the run backs, but, you know, now that I have a shortcut, it's just like, now I fully realize how annoying it was. And, yeah, I mean, overall, what do I think of the game? If I were to give it a score out of 10, I'd give it a 10. If I were to give the original a score, probably a 9. And I'm only giving it a 9 because I have now played the new version with the, you know, remastered, the pipe skips, the extra coins, all of that. Yeah. I think the game is overall just generally improved, and if you like the first one, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, you're gonna like the remaster. Not enough has changed so that you're not gonna find anything crazy. Like, you're not gonna find a new partner, you're not gonna find, like, that they added an extra area afterward that, like, has this whole new thing, but it accomplishes exactly what a remaster should be doing, I think, which is it improves upon the base quality of the game and doesn't stray too, you know, far from the path that it originally tread. I think all of the story beats are the exact same. I'm trying to think. There's one notable change, so this will be our little spoiler section that if you want to click off now. You've been warned. So, 3, 2, 1... They changed the name of the Shadow Sirens, which was their original title in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, to the Shadows. Just the Shadows. No sirens. Nothing. And this is a fine change. I think it was made because of all of those, they imply that, you know, sirens are generally, if I remember my Greek mythology right, sirens were women primarily, and their role was to lure sailors out into the sea with their cries, and then they would, you know, eat them or kill them or whatever. However, it implies that they were women. Now in the Three Shadows, or the Shadows as they're called, it makes it more clear that maybe Vivian wasn't always a girl. And that opens up a story beat that I never really thought about in the original. However, I'd heard the Vivian theory. They cement that theory in stone in this version. So if you don't like that thing, the idea of that, then that would probably lower this game for you. However, I think it was pretty clear in the first one, from the fan theories, or I guess the fan theories that stemmed from, like, the Italian and Japanese dialogue options, that this is what was happening. It's just a little more blunt about it now, which is what I was alluding to in the beginning. So, overall, that's all I had to talk about. If you really liked Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, the original, which we've still got here, then you'll probably like the remaster. And if you want to see more games like Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, I think the best way to say, I want more games like this Paper Mario and less Paper Mario games like Sticker Star or Color Splash is to buy the remaster. Because then Nintendo sees the number go up and they say, hey, there's still a market for people who want to play old school RPGs, turn-based RPGs with Mario as the center protagonist. Which they do have with the Mario and Luigi series, but Paper Mario's a little more cheeky, I think, would be a good way to describe it. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today. And go buy yourself a copy of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. I think my siblings are going to buy a boxed copy, so eventually I'll have that. I have the Switch version, but I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about it, and I'll see you guys all next time, so bye-bye.